Okay, so Isaiah 14 and 29, it says, "Rejoice thou not, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent." That serpent's root is talking about a silo, and out of that is coming a missile. Okay, that's what that's speaking about. Now the brother said it was some Sharap. All right, and that's what it's talking about right there. He wrote the definition is
Sharap. It means serpent, fiery serpent, poisonous serpent, from burning effect of poison. Sharap.
Poison. Tying in with that word wormwood. That went and get that, brother. Revelation 8, verses 10 and 11. That's talking about radiation. Because once those missiles hit and they hit ground zero, all right, it's going to create that blast, that nuclear blast, and that creates that shockwave, and it's going to spread that radiation everywhere into your waters, into the ground. Animals are going to get messed up. For even birds of the air, man. You know.
If I could add something to the elder. I was watching this one series. The brother put me on to it. Jericho. You know, it's a series. You know, and they shut it down because it was getting too hardcore. But it's dealing with a nuclear destruction toward America. It showed how people, the money shut down. They started dealing with the barter system. They started when the nukes hit, that they had to run and go hide for cover. The point is that they go hide for cover. And when one of the bitches tried to go to her husband, whatever, you know how a series go, she tried to go to her husband, and nothing but birds was dead on the ground, and she's trying to walk to this plane crash. But it shows that the radiation after the bomb, the bomb hit, she came out and tried to walk over there like the bomb's over there, like, you know, the radiation, which is what the elder was saying, is the poison. You know what I'm saying? Radiation, man. Done.
Was anybody holding Joel about the bow of steel?
Yeah, I had that.
Yeah, read that, take that out, and then brother, Managan, you had something to bring out. You had
right?
Revelation. Just bring that out. Pretty much everybody bring out your last comments or whatever in scriptures.
Did I bring out this the root word to Sharap?
Yeah.
Which is the same word. It's crazy, but the same word Sharap means we brought it out earlier, means to burn, to be burned, burner, burning, to be burnt up, be burned. And that's the definition, the root word of the same word, Sharap. You know?
Yeah.
It's Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. And you know, back in the ancient times, people didn't walk around with steel bows. You know, those would be too heavy in battle. So that's how you know it's talking about the nuclear missiles.
And then why he is eating is why he is working toward that one world government.
That's right. That's right. That's right. When he reaches the climax of that one world thing, then Yahushua is gonna come, boom, you know, and drop him like a bad habit. We're gonna start our world, man.
If I can add on to it, let's extrapolate, bring it to a real life incident, so to speak, and imagine yourself at I'm gonna say Subway, it's bullshit food, but you at Subway and somebody busting up upside the head while you eating your food. You know, that's very disturbing.
The last bite,
you know,
the last
bite. You think once I finish,
especially if you were hungry at that. Like, I was like, you ever be eating, man, you just dropped something that you was, you know, and that was like you said your last bite. You were like, damn, man, that was gonna hit the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
If you dropped it, you know.
It was gonna be satisfying.
Yeah.
This one world government, they almost, because they already got Social Security on us. They got all these other laws. You know, the other was going on while I was driving about us being in slavery with the Social Security, amongst other things. You know what I'm saying? That if they, you know, they got us with that last bite of that chip. that last bite, you know, and the Most High gonna knock that shit out their hand and go upside their head with the missiles.
That's
man.
right, man. That's right. The Most High can have a fiery chip.
Read this next verse.
Yeah.
Verse 25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. And then that body is the same, that root that was spoken of in Isaiah 14. Those silos that house the missiles.
Right, exactly. Like Madigan said, the brother Madigan said that a root is in the ground.
Yeah.
Silos are in the ground, you see? And out of that ground is coming out that serpent, man. That glittering spear, because that fire, man. It's going to cause it to glitter, cause it to shine, you know? Now, if you go back to Planet of the Apes, I believe it was was it the Conquest, which was the second one? Don't quote me on that, but they had actually it was the first one. I believe. The original one, I believe, where they had the missile in it. Now I think that's the second one, Conquest of the Apes. Don't quote me on that, you know. I gotta look it up to be sure. But they had a missile, and it was a church, and it was a missile, and they were praying to it and shit like that, because it was the missile that destroyed America, and the apes took over. Now those apes were Esau called them Jake apes. You know, Esau pretty much making mockery of Jake, but they knew that, look, at the end, after their civilization, you know, the apes took over. You know, who's that? That's the Israelites, us, taking over their asses. You know, so, and who put that up? Those were the elites. And I believe Elder Gabar said that that dude that came up with the Twilight Zone, he was one of the writers that dealt with the Planet of the Apes, and definitely he was down with Illuminati, insider, you know.
That whole concept deals with irony, you know. The Twilight Zone is basically what, you know, and that shows how proud Esau is to put that out. To say basically, you can't stop us, but this is what you think is going to stop us. You know?
Now, you got Isaiah 95.
This is Isaiah 95. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled up in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
That glittering spear. Does it say glittering spear or glittering sword?
Glittering sword.
That glittering sword, alright? That fuel, the fire, see? Burning as they're flying, making their way over, you know? So that's the climax of the end of this place, you know? And you better well damn believe that this is gonna happen, man. There's no turning back. Give me y'all say Sirach, the 16th chapter, and you can start at the first verse. These things weren't created for nothing, man. You know, these things were. There's also a scripture, I believe, in Proverbs that it says, the Lord, they have created a snare so that they could fall, or they dig the pit so they could fall in it. Something to that extent.
I get that.
And that's what pretty much the Lord did. Gave that technology to Esau to destroy his own damn self.
Bring some down in this. Revelation 6:13. And the stars of the heavens fell into the earth, even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Yeah, those are those bunkers. Because when the heavens are rolled as a scroll, what's that? That's what Isaiah was talking about in the 54th chapter. Those wasters to destroy.
That's right.
When those missiles hit, when the heavens roll up, it looks like a scroll, you know, turned on its side. You know, when you roll up a scroll, it says when this happens, they're going to try and hide themselves in the dens, in the holes, because they're going to know the missiles are coming, and they're going to try and go in those bunkers, because you got these doomsday preppers. And not only here in America, best believe they got these dens and holes over in Russia, over in the bottomless pit in Europe, in Africa, all these other nations outside the U.S. that's not going to be completely wiped out. They're going to be hiding from us.
Yeah, now there used to be a video that we used to watch back in the day, late 90s, and it was called The Final Chapter. Now, in that, it was all about the missiles and what would happen when the missiles are shot off, and you know all the things that would happen. You know. Now this one dude that was I guess he was like an actor or something, but he was narrating the video, and he was saying that the United States they have vaults like way up in Norway, or those way up north in Europe somewhere, like embedded in mountains of ice, and they created these high-tech vaults, airtight vaults, and they got all the world's like you know, books and anything that speaks about this world, if it was to be destroyed, how it was, what it did, and you know, pictures and all kind of shit, technology. Hit, you know, like in other words, for example, they'll take a laptop and they'll put it in some kind of box or something, and then put it in a vault, you know, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And what it was and what did it do and all that stuff. You know, y'all brothers gotta see movies like Time Machine. All right, there's a movie called Time Machine, and pretty much that's, you know, it was a time machine. He went back into the past. He went way into the future. Now, you got two time machines, the original one and then the newer one that came out. You can watch them both; they're both good. And but pretty much when they went into the future, America wasn't there. Nothing was there but darkness. So what did that mean? That the bomb shot off. Morpheus and Neo, when he set them down, he said, "Look, we don't know what happened, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky," or something like that. Okay. Some kind of statement he made. In other words, he's saying that, look, it was us that burned the shit up, man.
That's right. By
way of the missiles. See, so I don't care what level of knowledge you into or whatever. I'm talking about in general the people of the world. I don't care if they're doctors or lawyers or into the military or whatever the fuck they're doing. At the end of the day, the thing that's gonna end all that shit is those missiles, man.
That's right.
You see? Well, let me say Yahweh Hashem Yahushai by way of the missiles. It's gonna end all that and establish that new earth and the new heavens underneath Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and us ruling with him. You see, which is the kingdom of heaven, and that's gonna be on earth. You see, so
if I can say this, and because when we speaking, of course, we speaking to the nation of Israel, and you know, and specifically the elect. So it's like the thing is, the men of the Lord, by the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we know that the instrument of the final destruction is the nuclear missiles. The devil, our enemy, knows that the instrument that's going to be used for the final destruction is the nuclear missiles. So what about y'all? Because if this fight is all about Jacob and Esau, Jacob knows it, Esau knows it. So you know,
I can add on to this real quick. If you got Jacob and Esau, we both battle, we both know it's a fight. What happens to when you shooting and you in the war, you shooting? What happens to the niggas in the middle?
That happens all the time. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Crossfire.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So therefore, through the Spirit, you gotta make that decision. You gotta come out here and choose your side.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we know Yahweh Hashem has to choose you.
That's right.
Because you can't willfully get into this thing.
That's right.
You know, when you see us out here in the highways and the edges year in, year out, starting with our elders, you know, they didn't will themselves to be up there. It's the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Because sometimes you fucked up. Sometimes you wake up all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Fucked up physically, mentally, spiritually. But some way, somehow, by the end of that day, you see yourself heading away from camp after doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. How did it happen? Because it's the Spirit.
It's like we were saying. You can do your own will. The Most High created us to do a certain thing. I don't care what we think, what we're fighting against. The Most High created us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We could wake up and Satan could put the most demonic thought on our mind. But at the end of the day, we're gonna read, we're gonna watch, and we're gonna pray. We're gonna go out there and do the work. That the elect will do that no matter what. I don't care what Satan puts on the mind. We will overcome.
That's right.
The same. It goes into Wisdom of Solomon. The same opportunity is even presented to the heathen, but they're not made to overcome that.
Right.
Yeah. So every time they get presented that option, they fuck up.
Yep.
Which shows in what all the fucking societies they presented: Babylon, Rome, America,
Yep.
you know,
Assyria.
Yep. You know, even Moab, all that fucking animals they're eating, they get the power. You know, only people that got into power was when we got into our full strength was when Israelites were dealing with Solomon. When we got into our full power, man, we did what we were supposed to do, man.
Right.
Shows an example. And the Most High deals with balance, even with the heathen.
Yep.
Gave you damn heathen the opportunity.